It was September 3rd last month that our inside source reported to us on a secretive nuclear weapons transfer. Then Lindsey Graham came out, the senator from South Carolina, and said that the East Coast would be nuked if we didn't attack Syria. Then the second command over all nuclear forces was relieved from command. And then today, the number one in command was relieved, and this had to be leaked to the AP. This was going to be kept secret. It turns out the first admiral was removed, the second in command, the day we released that information, just hours later in the evening. This was kept secret for weeks. Now this new top general has been relieved, the number one commander, and we're going to tell you who he's been replaced by. That's really the big news here. But there's definitely coup, counter-coup stuff going on here. We're not sure exactly what's happening, but it's big. Anthony Gucciardi, StoryLeak.com. You've been on this like nobody else here at the office since this came in with our source, who we've lost contact with. We've got about 6 minutes till the news ends. We're going to come back after the news with a special news bulletin to continue with this. But give folks the basics of why we're so concerned about this.
So this is why this is so concerning in a breaking news piece that we're still yet to fully decipher. But today's research, this is what we found. So not only has Lindsey Graham come out and said, yeah, if you don't go to war with Syria and actually Iran as well, South Carolina will be nuked. But that same day beforehand, we leaked the intel specifically stating that the nuclear warheads were moving from Texas to South Carolina. To add matters to that and make it even more extreme, not only, yes, do we have the second commander being fired, but the first commander being fired. And it later came out through these leaked emails, if you look at the Daily Mail piece, that the second in command was fired on the same day of the nuclear warheads transfer that we reported on. The exact same day, but that came out weeks later. So we couldn't have known that. The intel was right, 100%. We knew that, but we could not have even guessed that these guys would be laid off and fired and suspended and terminated until weeks later when they admit, yes, it happened on September 3rd, that day we reported it, but we didn't want anyone to know. And
this happened in 2007 at Minot with 2 cruise missiles from North Dakota down to Louisiana, and it was a huge scandal, huge investigations. They were trying to steal these, is what our intel said. In fact, we were one of the first to report on it. This time it comes out, and it's not been picked up by the mainstream media, which is even more scary. And again, our source didn't know where they were going, exactly what was happening, just the general area. They just knew this was off the radar and highly illegal.
Well, they said South Carolina specifically at the same point Lindsey Graham said that a nuclear attack could happen.
Yes, so, and he said South Carolina or New York.
Yeah, so he said South Carolina, but it could go up into the New York area because it's a harbor, it's a big port, it's a big bay, it could go anywhere. But specifically, we knew South Carolina.
Yes.
That's what we knew. And then Lindsey Graham came out and said, yes, there could be an attack there. But what worries me the most, is most concerning to me, that's the biggest point, is the Daily Mail piece where it says, yes, they didn't want to tell us about any of it. We weren't supposed to really know. But then in the leaked section, it says, yeah, the email indicated that it actually happened on September 3rd. Again, that's the same day the nuke transfer actually was initiated. So these guys are being offed and terminated on the same day, and that the top guy, it turns out, he was terminated 2 days after another one. So it goes on and on. It's like these people don't want to play the game. Maybe they're whistleblowers. Maybe they didn't want to have a false flag scenario in South Carolina, and they're terminated from that. And maybe just talking about this is also preventing it, which is amazing. But this also goes into this new thing. This is breaking news here, exclusive. The guy that's firing all these people, the head guy, his name is Kowalski. He made a statement in this Department of Defense online website here in an interview, and he actually said, nuclear weapons are strategic weapons. They're political weapons. So they're not just weapons of war. He went on to talk about, you know, we have all these 2,000-pound bombs and everything. That's what master sergeants talk about. But once you get to the level of senator and secretary of defense, they talk about nuclear weapons. He's saying that nuclear weapons aren't actually weapons of war anymore. They're political strategic weapons. That, to me, sounds like he's saying he's holding the country hostage, as we talked about before. This is the guy in charge firing all these generals who wouldn't go along with him.
That's what we war-gamed in early September last month, that these could hold the country hostage. They're not supposed to be nukes at Dyess since '86. Weldon Henson, that works here, was stationed there working on B-2 bombers and F-16s. He said there were bunkers they weren't supposed to go into. That's where these got pulled out, put on 18-wheelers. And again, South Carolina, they wouldn't say where specifically. And they were like, well, this is illegal. There's no paperwork. And the base commander came out and said, hey, national security, it's an order. And there was a big issue there with security, the base security, the police, everybody were really freaked out. That's why this was leaked to the media. Not just us, but to others. We went with it. Just like the Capitol SWAT team leaked to us, they were ordered to stand down at the Navy Yard shooting. Later that came out in the BBC. Just like the Navy SEALs came to us about how they were being killed a year before it came out in the mainstream media. This is real. This has got to be the most dangerous thing I've ever reported. My gut tells me that we're risking our lives doing this, but we've got to do it. It's our duty. And look at who they've put in now over all the nuclear weapons now that General Kerry's been removed. General Jack Weinstein. He looks like he's about 14 years old, and so he must be following orders.
Yeah, they're replacing the real experienced people with this guy, Jack Weinstein, who will go along and play ball. It's definitely obvious these older generals were either whistleblowers, they weren't going to go along with the plan. And it seems to me that basically he's saying that, yeah, nuclear weapons are not for war, they're political and strategic weapons. Sounds to me like they wanted to launch a false flag attack as a pretext to war in Syria and Iran, as Graham was their little playboy to go out and say it, and then these guys would not go along with it. And it also means to me that if they were going to, as some people speculated, set these up as defense against Syria, which is unnecessary and moronic anyway, they wouldn't have an issue saying, yes, we relocated some of our bombs to protect ourselves or something. But this is definitely a political and strategic move, just like they said.
We're going to go to break and end the news because some stations carry it's got to end right now. We're going to come back for PrisonPlanet.tv viewers and continue to break this down and talk about some of the other news as well. Anthony, thank you. Folks, you've got to understand something out there. They love to hide things in plain view. Just like they've had all the Democratic strategists say a false flag would sure help us if there was a terror attack to blame the Tea Party. They put that in the Times of London, Financial Times, Associated Press. And when he's going, these aren't just military weapons. These are political weapons now. This is pretty creepy. So that's it for this Friday edition of InfoWars Nightly News. I'll be back this Sunday, 4 to 6 p.m. Central, with the Sunday radio show. And Lord willing, back on Monday. Please pray for InfoWars, pray for Nightly News, pray for our great crew. And I also want to thank you all for your support. Please pray for America and free peoples everywhere fighting against tyranny. That's it for this edition.
Now you can watch The Alex Jones Show live as it happens at Infowars.com/show.
You'll find links to all of our content there and a free 15-day trial for Prison Planet TV.
More than 60 movies and documentaries all in one place at Infowars.com/show.
Are we choosing our own destiny, or has it been pre-selected for us?
As we've moved through history, every great leader has had to understand the potential of information.
Billions of dollars have been spent, privately and publicly, looking at how to tap into your psyche.
From compulsory state education to the Hollywood media brainwashing machine, we are kept in perpetual bondage to the ideas that shape our actions.
When somebody obscures that feedback loop between you observing and testing it out and verifying it, they can take total control of your awareness.
All of this is happening so fast, you need to be ahead of the game.
How to engineer the opinion of the American people so that they would not only endorse but demand a war.
Oh, there's another one. Another plane just hit.
State of Mind, because there's a war on for your mind. Get your copy of State of Mind, the movie, at Infowars.com. And remember, every order at InfoWarsStore.com receives a free citizen rulebook.